D-Lo 404 Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to Marlo's Corner Tricks and the whole block fam. Okay, this is one that I wanted to talk about for about a week. I kept forgetting to talk about it and actually stumbled across the video again a few minutes ago. So Daniel Jacobs, we all know just got to stop his win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., where Chavez basically quit in the corner. I think he suffered a nose injury, maybe a broken nose, and the bottles were thrown in the ring and all of that. And after that fight, Gabe Rosado had his fight happen on the non-televised portion of the card in an empty arena, because the whole arena was basically forced out because of all of the commotion and outrage and melee because of Junior quitting in that fight. All right. As for the fight itself, we know that Gabe Rosado was supposed to be the replacement in case things didn't work out with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. because of the whole thing with the drug testing, with the having to change commissions, with and potentially with weight, and then he ended up missing weight by about 5 or 6 pounds. Had to pay $1 million penalty, and the fight went on. But as a result of that, we saw Danny Jacobs go ahead and get the stoppage win in the fight. He withstood some good moments by Chavez, but ultimately he was too much for Chavez Jr. So the one thing about that was I just found it odd that Gabe Rosado's fight wasn't televised or anything. It actually took place to an empty arena. I don't know that in front of an empty arena. I don't know that I've ever heard of anything like that. That was kind of odd. But Rosado did go ahead on and win that fight, and he's now looking for other fights at 168 pounds, and Daniel Jacobs is actually an opponent that he wants to fight still. The two had a confrontation backstage after the weigh-in. This is prior to the fights, where basically Daniel Jacobs was thanking him for being there because that forced Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to have to pay that extra $1 million because Jacobs had an opponent that was ready to go. So that kind of forced Chavez to have to fork over the extra $1 million so that he could stay on the card. So he was thanking him for that. Rosado said, yeah, whatever, you still a lame. And they kind of had words back and forth. Basically, sum it all up, Daniel Jacobs kept talking about money and basically said that, Rosado had a bad record and didn't deserve to fight him and would never get a chance to step in the ring with him. And, basically just had a little back and forth banter. But my whole thing with my whole feelings toward the whole situation is, why not Daniel Jacobs? Why not? Gabe Rosado is a known fighter. You guys are both from pretty much the same geographical region. I think you guys can do good numbers in an arena in the Northeast. And the fight could be main event worthy. Definitely would be better than some of the main event cards we saw on DAZN. And actually, I was hoping Chavez Jr. pulled out of the fight because I would rather have seen Daniel Jacobs versus Rosado than Chavez, because I knew the fight would not go well for Chavez. And I feel like there's no reason Daniel Jacobs can't fight Rosado. I mean, he just fought Chavez Jr., who's not a world beater, who's far past his best. No, he don't have as many losses on his record as Rosado, but Rosado's been in every fight that he's lost. Rosado's always gave it his all. He's always a fan-friendly fighter, and he's a guy that people tune in to watch. Especially when he's fighting a guy with a name. I, for one, would tune in to see the fight. I like to see the fight. Don't really care much for all the back and forth banter if it's not building an actual fight. If it's just talking and you guys aren't trying to fight, shut up and go fight somebody you want to fight. Then stop talking to each other. Stop talking about each other. That's all I got to say on it. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.